Hey, how's it going? Hey, going to come up here with another episode. Got my friend here, Chris. Thanks for coming by, bud. Hope everything is going well for you. How's everything going out there in California land?
Um, it's rough. I mean, not for me personally, but just in general, they're suffering, just like in most states.
Oh, really? So, like,
Yeah.
what part of California? You still in Sacramento?
Sacramento area. I'm up in Auburn, so Placer County. It's a little less restrictive, but we're still just made it to the purple tier, so that means everything's getting locked down.
Yeah. What's up with this color tier bullshit that they're?
Oh, it's
Doesn't
just
make any
another
sense.
made up crap. So it went from county colors to now regional. So the whole greater Sacramento area. It's not just Placer County, Nevada County, Sacramento County. It's all lumped together. And basically, if one's at 15% capacity ICU, everything gets shut down in the region. Just another way to shut things down faster.
Like, it's 15% left open, or they're at 15%
Yes.
capacity. Okay.
No, 50% left open, which from what I've done my research on around this time of year with influenza and everything going around, we're usually under 15% capacity anyway. I could understand if it went down to like 5%, then panic, but it's at 14.7% capacity for the Sacramento region.
Yeah. When
And
is
that's
it?
just enough to shut everything down.
Yeah, when has it never been like that? I mean, isn't that the point? I think they want to have like ICUs like
Right.
closely filled up. I mean, not only just to help people, but I mean, people are constantly getting surgeries and having to
Exactly.
be in ICU. I mean, and also it brings in the money.
Right.
As weird as that may sound.
Yep. So it really, there's no science behind it. It's just kind of a metric the governor set to force everything to shut down because that's what he feels is best. You know, and his health advisor, from what I've read, is a pediatrician anyway. Doesn't have any specialty in viruses or, you know, just kind of deals with kids, general stuff. And you're going to let this guy run the metric for when to shut businesses down as if you have the authority to do that anyway. It's just ridiculous.
So how is it looking in California, like as for jobs and the small businesses? I mean, like, is there a clear and noticeable difference in the past year of like homelessness and crime
Oh,
and
come on. California is a safe haven for homelessness. Crime, yeah. I mean, you let everybody out of prison. What do you think is going to happen? Constantly, you got this revolving door of prisoners now. They're out, and then next day they're back in jail, and then they kick them back out because of COVID anyway. So that's been happening. Businesses definitely have been hit. You could see a lot of places closed up, a lot of small shops just gone. I mean, small towns, forget about it. You got a few places open, restaurants, and that's about it as of now.
yeah,
So it's noticeable impact,
Jesus. Yeah, I mean, like,
and that's just in my region.
yeah, because I haven't lived out there in over 10 years, and I know that it was like Governor Brown had
Mm,
decreased a lot of felonies to misdemeanors and got a lot of people
right.
out, and it just like flooded the streets of homeless people, and the crime shot up, and then didn't the governor want to release like 18,000 people due to the COVID,
Yes.
like out of prison and jail?
So not only have they been released, but I was just talking to a coworker of mine. His brother is a prison guard, and he's working a lot less now. So they're reducing staff in the prisons as well to save on state funding or whatever money for that. I mean, criminals are being glorified here. Illegals are being given free health care and money. The homeless are just running rampant. I mean, if you look at pictures and videos of San Francisco, for example, everybody's gone except the homeless. That's just all over the streets now. And you're talking about a multi-million-dollar area to live in, and that's what you have to deal with. It's just going downhill.
Yeah, last time I was out in the Bay Area, brought my wife there, was like 2016. And then, like, since then, I don't know what the hell has happened in 4 years, but I mean, they've even made apps of like where you can find human feces on the streets.
Yep,
And,
daily.
yeah, I mean, so like San Francisco's gone to shit. And I mean, like you have this family of politicians, of the Pelosi, Governor Brown, his sister is the
Right.
governor of Oregon, and she was in, I forgot what her position was when he was governor first. can't remember. It was like secretary of some shit. I can't remember.
Secretary of some garbage.
Yeah, you got this strong, rooted family of like crooked politicians, and
Right.
you got Newsom that's already been caught, going out to the French Laundry, Pelosi being caught doing the haircut thing, and then blaming the stylist for it's her fault I got caught, blah blah blah,
Right.
and
Running her out of business.
yeah, threatening to sue and all that dumb shit. So it just seems that like California so far has been this petri dish of everything that could go wrong is going wrong. At least that's what it seems like from the outside.
I feel like this is the experimental state for what they want to do with the rest of the country in the future. Especially with Biden, if he gets in office, whatever. I don't know which direction this is all going to go in, but this is kind of, Kamala's already been here and wrecked this state. She's gone to the Senate and tried to wreck the rest of the country. Well, now she's VP. She's going to accomplish what she wants. And this is just a preview. Everybody beware. This is what's coming to the rest of the country. Of course, there are going to be states that are going to resist, but I could tell you firsthand, it's not pretty.
Yeah,
I mean, shit's just falling apart.
Because Kamala was AG, and I think she even like really screwed over the Justice Department in California.
Oh yeah.
They shut down different crime units that for the state Justice Department. I know my mom used to work there at the California Justice, and she just made a complete mess. And they're going to be, and again, this is identity politics. She's only glorified because of the color of her skin. But like when she was getting those positions in California, you can go look back at those news articles saying, "Oh, first Indian woman to blah blah blah," and then now that but she can switch that to, "Oh, first African American woman, black woman, whatever." Is crazy identity politics.
Identify as whatever to get votes or sympathy or whatever it is. But when she was here, she was the one being the toughest on black people, on people of color. She was the one throwing them all in jail. So she wasn't doing any good for her own people, if you want to put it that way.
Yeah. Have you ever heard of this term? I forget what it's called. Oh, man. It'll probably come to me. But I listened to someone that was saying that, like, you have these politicians like Kamala Harris and then, like, and Barack Obama, where like they can say that they're the first African American man to do this, first African American woman to do this, but like in reality, are they the same kind of like African American as someone that is black that has had 200-300 years of family generations and slavery in the United States? That there's this disconnect of this first generation Americans that are of African descent that really don't have that connection to what real African Americans are in the United States. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah, no, I mean, if you're born here, raised here, you're American, you're in the same culture, I was born in Europe, raised there till I was 7, so I come from a whole different culture, coming to this culture and still have family there, so got still connected to that culture, and it's a whole different idea than being raised here for generations and you don't know anything different. Yeah, you can't identify as that just because of your color. That's what I would call racist right there.
Yeah, right.
Define racism.
Like I was just listening yesterday about how COVID-19 affects I guess we have to say Latinx now and African Americans are 3 times more likely to die, and that they're using this identity politics of for COVID-19, saying that like just because the color of your skin, you're 3 times more likely to die. Well, why aren't we just saying like, no, it's because of pre-existing conditions you're 3 times more likely to die? You see, like if you
or genetic makeup, or let's call it scientific. What does it come down to? Because I doubt it's melatonin levels.
Yeah, exactly. That the virus is going to be targeting you more because of the color of your skin. No, it's because of your overall health. And it's this distrust into the public and misinformation. That's going to be just like further dividing people more and more. So why the hell isn't shit like that getting fact checked? Like, fact check. No, you don't get killed because of a virus because of the color of your skin. You get killed more likely by the virus because of your medical condition.
or your diet, or
Yeah.
your dispositions that you already have. I agree. Why aren't they fact checking that? Well, because it goes with their narrative. So why would they?
Yeah, yeah, it's just a further divide of the people and of the country, and it sickens me to see this, because then a lot of people are going to be reading that. All they're going, like majority of people just read the headline, don't much read the article.
Exactly.
Like if you read a lot of these articles, you'll find out that they already misconstrued the headline just by reading at the very bottom. Is where you get to the real truth of it.
Right. They put their mumbo jumbo opinion on top and whatever facts on the bottom, scatters facts.
Yeah. But
crazy. Regardless, you should be doing your own independent research and look into the medical aspect of it. Has there been any research done on this, or are they just speculating off of what someone might have said or whatever? It's whatever sells the headlines at this point, but at the same time, it's damaging and dividing the nation.
Yeah.
Which they don't care about.
Yeah. But I believe there was this Netflix special on Roger Stone, and he was one of Trump's campaign managers at the beginning, and then he kind of got fired through it. He's a big Richard Nixon fan, right? And he says literally in this documentary that fear is the biggest motivator, or fear is what gets you to win, And the Democrats, in my opinion, definitely use fear and doubled down on it during the entire election and the upcoming.
Absolutely. That's the only thing they had, was creating the fear. And I mean, look at all the people they paid off, Antifa, BLM, to cause all this trouble, and then come in as the saviors, so that way they get some sort of credit in election votes. Look at what we've done. Yeah, you've destroyed everything, and then told them to stop, and they stopped, because where are they now? It's all gone, right?
Yeah.
Just magically. Biden won, and they're gone.
Yeah.
So people are waking up to that. Come on.
So were they being funded by someone?
From many articles I've read, yes, they were being funneled by different Democratic entities.
One thing I do know is that the BLM organization that came out with it's two women and a man, I think, that started the BLM organization.
Right.
And one of them or two of them come out to be known as very pro-Marxist in their ideology. Yeah. One thing is that I kind of told people, I don't know if you knew this, but if you go onto the BLM website right now, and maybe right now, at least it was before the election, and you go to donate, you'll see that the URL for the donate was started by a company called Act Blue. And you'll see it actually in the URL, Act Blue. And Act Blue is this organization that is a Democratic fundraiser. So all the bigwigs of the Democratic Party get all their technical difficulty.
As long as I could hear you.
Yeah, sorry about that. It had some technical difficulties, but I don't know if you heard what I was saying about the BLM website and their donations.
No, that's where I lost you.
All right, so we're carrying on. Okay, so about the BLM website. So if you go on there and you go onto their donations, which they're gladly to accept, because we were talking about who was funding the Antifa riots and all that other crap. Right. If you go on there, you see on the URL is Act Blue. Act Blue is what runs the donation part of BLM. Well, if you go on to the donation sites for Biden, Harris, Act Blue. Right. Act Blue is this company that is Democrat owned. I don't know exactly by who. We can go into the details later, but they handled donation monies for all the big wigs in the Democratic Party. They give all the money to the Pelosi's, the Shermers, basically all the big heads.
Yeah.
So right there, a lot of people will be funneling or donating money to BLM, thinking that it's it's going to go for
grassroots
causes. Yeah, to help out African Americans. But I don't even think that with all the billions of dollars that they have already brought in, I don't think they've done anything to donate and give to African American communities. I saw that they bought
Right.
like big ass tour buses, and they've been funding, like we were saying, these uh, uh, protesting, the riots and stuff like that. So
Yeah.
it's
Where's the accountability for where all this money's going? Where's it getting funneled to? Why
yeah,
aren't all these black kids in colleges right now with full tuition? Is it because they don't want to go, or there's no funding coming to
yeah.
them?
Why isn't BLM sending money for that? Why aren't they paying for people's educations and
Right.
uh,
Improving their lives, which is what they're fighting to do, and they have the funding, but yet it's not being done.
yeah.
Who's going to answer to that?
There was a lot of rumors and conspiracies that it was the Soros that was funding those Antifa and those riots to start. Like you said, it's just too convenient that all that shit had just stopped right away after the election.
Right.
Honestly,
The narrative's changed.
yeah, my guess was that I thought COVID was going to stop right after the election too. I
Me
thought they were
too.
going, like, oh, stop, but no, they kind of hunkered down on it.
No, they got other plans with that one, obviously. I
Yeah.
mean, just trying to destroy whatever they can to gain control is what it seems like.
Yeah, and it's working, unfortunately.
Right.
So, kind of a question to you, because I know that a lot of people are moving out of California. What keeps you in California?
Well, I have some personal reasons. Otherwise, I probably would have already moved myself. But I've shared custody with my ex-wife, my daughter. So that's the biggest thing keeping me here. But yeah, I don't blame anybody for leaving. I mean, look at Elon Musk lately. He's one of the bigger businesses to leave, and he's gone for good. He's not coming back. That's billions of dollars of tax revenue lost for the state.
Boom. Yeah.
Who's going to pay for all that? Me.
What's the what's the income tax rate in California? Is it 16% or 13? Is it like
I don't even know anymore. It's up there. It's ridiculous. So, among all the gas taxes and the tobacco tax and tax for everything else.
yeah.
And tax just never ends. Everything's taxed.
And just well, you have Elon Musk that left. You got Joe Rogan that left. Ben Shapiro that left. I mean, like, what other
Who's the
major?
other? There was another big tech company that left as well. Silicon Valley.
I know who you're talking about. Yeah.
Pretty recent.
It was like he runs like a online clothing store, or some shit like that. Anyway, I remember reading the article about that. Yeah, he left. I mean, like, what other big industry besides you still have Facebook,
Google's still out here.
Google, Apple.
Yep.
I mean, but like that's not like a huge employers for like blue collar workers.
Right. Right. Exactly. Whereas Tesla was
Yeah.
definitely provided a lot of blue collar jobs. God, who else left? I know there's a bunch of them. Not to mention celebrities are leaving now too.
I read that in 2019 or I think maybe this year. It might have been 2019 was the first year where California didn't have an increase in population, but more of a decrease. First time in like God knows how long. More people have ended up leaving.
Yes, but major migration out.
But you're starting to see this, like what everyone was starting to fear in like the neighboring states of like Arizona, and farther out a little bit Texas. And you saw it in the election. Arizona turned blue.
Yes.
They have Democrat senators now, and I don't know. I think their governor's Democrat too, but the state just turned blue first time in over 54 years.
Right.
So hopefully it seems like the trend is that they're bringing their politics with them.
Absolutely, that's kind of the one bad thing about them all moving. Well, many of the bad things: losing revenue and taking their politics with them, which almost seems like it's part of the plan too. Drive them out of the state and turn the other states to what they want as well. It's kind of running out of safe havens here. You got a lot of them moving to Nevada, Idaho, Arizona, Texas. Some Idaho and Texas blue or red states there, but who knows 5 years from now where that could turn.
Yeah.
They are leaving by, the thousands. People are leaving the state.
So, what do you think is like in the future for California? You think people are starting to get more fed up with it, and that you think politics may have an abrupt change in the state?
From what I've seen, yes, it's definitely starting to hit Southern California more. From kind of the posts I've been looking at in the articles, SoCal's getting fed up with the Democratic politics. LA mayor is just destroying the city. San Diego area, same thing. They're getting fed up. Bay Area, not so much. They haven't really changed their hearts too much, but I have a feeling that's coming with everybody leaving anyway. Who knows? Who knows about the future? If you look at even the election map from this last election, there's a lot of red on the map. Obviously, it's less populated counties, but even in Southern California, a lot of them have turned red.
Yeah. Is there a big movement of trying to recall Governor Newsom?
Oh, hell yeah.
Really?
I'm all on that. Oh, yeah. I mean, the signatures are definitely getting up there. You got a hit in mainstream media now, too. And I was just reading an article from SF Gate, which is a big Bay Area publication, that Newsom's administration is starting to get concerned about the recall movement. So definitely some shifting going on, which is good to see. People are getting pissed off.
Yeah.
They should be.
I was telling a friend of mine, if there's any governor in the union, it was either be him or Cuomo. I don't think it's going to happen so much to Cuomo, but
yeah.
I think that Newsom would be a great prime candidate for a recall, and to like really put a ripple into the states of like, you put in this kind of like bullshit policies and mandates, this is what's going to happen to you, and,
right.
and to make this precedent that the people still have control and power,
exactly.
and not these individuals and elected officials. Because as I was telling some of my family members of like, during the whole Thanksgiving thing of, you can't have more than 3 households or maximum 10 people go be outside. And I was saying, who the fuck are you?
30 minutes.
Yeah, who the fuck are you to tell me who my family I can't see? Who,
right.
Like, what gave you, what gave you the authority? What gave you the power to say that? Or
exactly.
I mean, like, how are you going to enforce it? Just to come up with the fucking thought.
How are you going to justify that in the first place and then enforce it? No officer in their right mind is going to enforce that because they know they don't have the constitutional grounds to do it.
Yeah, coming down at people's neighborhoods, looking through the windows and stuff. I mean, that's some Gestapo bullshit.
Come on in, grab a plate.
Yeah, which I'm glad to hear that there's sheriffs out there that are refusing to enforce the what is it
the orders, whatever.
A lot of the orders, the curfew
orders they got
which
going
that's
on.
Another one, a 10 o'clock curfew.
Right.
Like, what the fuck? Like suddenly the virus just dies out after 10 o'clock. Like none of these policies and mandates just are scientifically
based.
backed.
Right. Exactly.
I mean, you could have like the top scientists say you can open schools. Schools are not a vector of transmission. Close down the schools. Close down the schools.
So, well, Fauci himself came in and said he can open up the schools.
Yeah.
He's telling governors to open up the schools. And they listened to Fauci, without a doubt before. And now, like, no, we don't want to do that. Well, why not?
Yeah.
Your top infectious, scientist is saying it's okay, but you know better.
Yeah, I guess.
It's all just bullshit, obviously. And the problem is there are still individuals and businesses that are afraid of what repercussions there might be.
Yeah.
They can't legally touch you. You got to realize that. And once they do, then they can finally start standing up.
Yeah. Well, I really hope that the recall movement really kind of pushes through, because if anyone needs to be made an example, it should be him, because, I think that the whole handling of these mandates and like of these closures, at first everyone was down with it, and because we didn't know anything about it. And I think after we've figured it out more and more, I think the better approach to handle it to the American people and to people in general is, instead of just saying, hey, this is what's going to be, and like dictate and mandate it, is to say, hey, educate the people, tell them, hey, this is what's going to happen. This is how, we figured out a lot more about this virus. These are the type of people that could be more prone to injury, severe illness, and death, are the elderly, those with pre-existing conditions. So if you fall into these categories, stay home as much as possible and avoid contact. But give the people the choice.
Exactly.
Being an adult and being a free
Right.
damn American, for one thing, to like make the conscious decision to do what they want. Because, hey, like flu vaccines only have like a 67% chance of being effective.
Right. They're not
So
100% sure which flu it is. They just kind of shoot in the dark and hope that's it.
yeah, but if they came out and said, hey, you guys got to wear masks, you guys got to take, businesses have to take precaution, I think that American people would already kind of, fall into that routine of trying to be more safe. I just think that if they approach the American people differently, instead of, because like, yeah, look at like Congress is trying to decriminalize marijuana, and they're saying, well, if you tell people they can't have something, that's what they're going to go on. It's the same damn logic here,
Right, exactly.
If you tell people that they can't go out to a restaurant, you tell people that they can't go to the gym, can't go to school, can't see their family, can't do this, a whole laundry list of shit that like is not even backed by any constitution in any state or the federal government, then what are they going to do? They didn't put the human factor.
We're all adults. Like, what do you expect? You're going to tell an adult what to do? They're out there with a job, paying bills, paying taxes. You're not paying for their house or anything, and you're going to tell someone what to do with their time and their family. Yeah, it doesn't work that way.
No.
It didn't work when we were kids. It's not going to work when we're adults. Absolutely not.
Nope. No.
So, yeah, I don't know who they think they are. I mean, other than communist logic, where my parents come from, they were in Romania during the communist era, and I'm hearing their stories, or I've heard them even as a kid, and seeing what's going on now, and it's the same rhetoric, same kind of control. You can't slap any other label on it. That's what it is. It's control of people. It's communism.
Yeah.
And that they're doing it again in Romania. I have family there, and they're just like, okay, this is what we just fought against. The revolution just got out of this, and you guys are doing the exact same thing again, because they're keeping them indoors. If you go out, they fine you unless you have a pass to go out, like a kiddie, bathroom pass. It's just ridiculous. We're adults. Give us the information. Show me the science. I want to see the data. I don't want you just telling me. I want to actually see the data and examine it for myself, which I've been doing personally, but a lot of people don't. And then let us decide how we want to live our lives. Simple.
Yeah. Because the one thing is to educate. Just like I said, if they just educated the people, I get it. Like at first, no one really knew shit about it, but I think at this point it's gotten really, really out of control, and I think California is kind of, like I said, is that petri dish that I think everyone in the United States is really looking at hard right now, because like my philosophy was, like, if I know the name of the mayor of Los Angeles, Eric Garcetti, then I think that he's doing probably a really shitty job. There's no reason for me to know like who the hell Lori Lightfoot is of Chicago. Shitty job. You know what I mean?
I've never heard before, but all of a sudden they're popping up, and it's not for good things.
Yeah. As I've heard people talk about before, you have these politicians that are like that of a popularity contest, and that you really see their true colors when it's an epidemic, or not an epidemic, but a pandemic, or any kind of crisis.
Some sort of emergency. Yeah.
And hopefully it allows the people to get really more involved in their politics and who they're voting for to represent them.
Tell you what, this year has definitely got me more involved. Before it was kind of like, I'll do a little research, see what's going on, see what they stand for. But now it's like, okay, what department are you in? What do you do, and what do you stand for? Like, for every part of the state, not just the governor, not just the president. It's like there are other departments that are involved, legislative, judicial, that are also play a big role in it. And I never really paid attention to that, but this has been an eye-opener for me. And all I can do is disperse that information to others, which Unfortunately, most don't care.
Yeah.
Don't take it serious. Oh, it's all a conspiracy. Well, not when the evidence is there, then it's not a conspiracy.
You
It's
know,
fact.
I like the one thing that really irritates me is like the mainstream media, liberal media's use of like selective words, right?
Hmm.
You have to pay attention to it, and I caught on to it like a lot more. And the biggest one that I noticed is like cases surge of COVID-19, cases surge, and they say that on purpose because what about the deaths? As a death surge, or like as the cases surge, but yet it's still the rate of death has gone down.
Yeah.
Because of
Showing you only
therapeutics.
one metric, the metric to cause fear, but not showing you the other metrics that
Yeah,
might be, hey, we're improving on death rates. Yeah, cases are going up, but we're surviving this more.
yeah,
They're not going to put in good light because that doesn't sell, first of all,
exactly.
and that doesn't go with the narrative of the fear.
One thing, because I'm with you. I'm in the same boat as like I was never really involved or like informed of like what was going on in politics before Trump became president. And then I was kind of happy. I didn't really care at the 2016 election, but I kept like a good eye on Trump because when he came out with a speech, I think it was in 2015, of when he was declaring his candidacy. I kind of liked a lot of the stuff that he had to say, but I kind of just put it on the back burner until like I saw that the clear and obvious bias against him, like everything that he was doing, it was just getting shit on, and every good thing that he was doing, unheard.
Right. And all the good stuff he did before he was even in that position. Well, not to mention, he used to be loved for all that.
Yeah.
Charity work he did and everything. He would always be on Oprah and all these other newscasts and all over New York. People
Rat
loved
videos.
him. Yeah. Everybody talked about him, right? They all wanted to be Donald Trump. And then he becomes president, and all of a sudden everybody hates him. The whole media just talks negative about him.
Yeah.
So, yeah, that was a big wake. I mean, come on. If that's happening, there's obviously something going on. And try to get to the bottom of that. Why do they all of a sudden hate him so much?
He stirred the pot. He
stirred called the pot. Out. Yeah. Right? Calling out the media, calling out the politicians.
Yeah.
And people don't want to hear it. Like I said, most people don't want to hear it. But he's got some good points.
Yeah. And you're starting to see that like a lot of Biden's so-called like policies that he said he's going to enact or he's going to put into place are like the same shit that's already being put in place now of the vaccine rollout. And like he's already saying, oh, we're going to roll out tens of millions of vaccines. Hello, the president's already, yeah, the president's already
what
on
are we doing right now?
Yeah.
Hello.
Oh, that's great.
Right?
No shit, Sherlock.
One thing. I mean, here's the thing with Biden. He's just a politician. Always been a politician. He's a politician. He's got the speech writers. He knows how to sweet talk the politician way, and that's what people love about him, right? Trump comes in, real talk. I mean, this guy's just street New York businessman. That's all he reminds me of. He'll talk a lot of shit. He'll put it all out there. The way he sees it is the way he tells it, which is one thing that I admire about him because I got tired of all these politicians. Obama, great speaker.
Yeah.
What has he done? Nothing good.
Yeah. Policy was pretty bad.
Right.
Oh, what was I going to... oh, yeah. So, like, in the 80s, Biden had attempted to run for president, but then he got ousted out because of plagiarism, because he was, like, using someone else's speech, which is so funny.
Few speeches.
While he was running for president this time, you know how he kept saying, like, I don't see red states or blue states, I see the United States. I mean, that was straight off. That's exactly what Obama said during his run. That was plagiarized,
Right.
And so, like, he doesn't come up with his own ideas on policy either. And
no, it's all written for him.
Yeah, yeah. Even like one of his speech writers was on CNN or something like that. He was commending Biden's speech at some place. I forget exactly where it was, but like. But he was the one that wrote it. So no shit, it was a good one that a good speech that Biden said because the guy that was saying it, giving him accolades, was the one that wrote it.
I don't think Biden's got the mental capacity to remember his own policies.
Yeah.
Or to even come up with his own policies. He's been doing nothing in Congress for 47 years. So what policies does he have that are so great.
Since 1973, that man has been in the leather chair.
And even at his age, still there. Makes you wonder why, right?
Yeah.
Me working, I can't wait to retire. But, I'm just a blue collar worker, so I'm not getting much out of it. But him as a politician, obviously living it up. He wants to. Same with Pelosi. Just want to do it forever till they die.
Yeah, that's what happens with corrupt politicians that want to keep power, maintain power. The man is crooked as a question mark for one thing, and
Absolutely.
I wish that it was more exposed about the whole Ukraine debacle more, and like someone else
Yes.
got like more into depth about it.
Right.
Because basically, that man started a war in Ukraine so that he can use taxpayer money that we were giving the country for a war effort that his son was pocketing through a natural gas and oil company. You know,
Yep.
and they're still in conflict in eastern Ukraine, and gave up Crimea basically, to Russia, annexed it.
Right.
So I just hope, and I see this shift in the media today, that there's a lot of independent media outlets that are coming up. Daily Wire, you got all these other The Blaze,
Yep.
just to name just two, but there's a lot more out there that are independent.
Newsmax.
Yeah, that hopefully you're coming up. That I hope that we give the same amount of scrutiny to Biden as they did to Trump. And
Absolutely.
I think that there's been rumors that when Trump gets out, because at this point, I don't think there's anything going to happen with these lawsuits. Basically, just accepted that Trump has lost it. But there's been rumors that he's going to start his own news network. So that might be interesting.
He's got the money to do it, so
Yeah.
that definitely will be interesting if he uses it, to call out the bullshit that's gonna be going on, because it's gonna be going on.
Yeah.
We already
Because
know.
I can tell you right now, they're going to try to give the vaccine credit to Biden. I
Right.
can almost guarantee you that. You had just Pelosi come out, what was it, yesterday or the day before, basically admitting that she was holding up the relief bill because it was an election and they got a new
Because
president now.
politics.
So,
Yes.
like,
Yep.
how does this not like register with the people? I
Exactly.
still find it difficult to understand how 80 million people voted for Biden. Right? Isn't that 80 million popular vote
Yeah,
for him
it's
right now?
up to 80 million. Those numbers don't add up at all to me.
Yeah,
Especially, all I see around here is Trump flag. I mean, especially around election time, was Trump flags everywhere, right? In a blue state. Okay, I went to SoCal in November, and it was just, Trump everywhere. You're talking OC, you're talking Newport Beach. It's just Trump
Really?
flags. Maybe a Biden Harris here and there, but I would expect to see a lot more Biden Harris.
it was the same thing up here. Like I was basically certain that Trump was going to win the re-election
by
because
landslide.
I saw so many people just with, like you said, Trump flags on their trucks. I saw people just on the corners of the streets, waving it up here,
Right.
and, blue state as well. And I still don't know. I can't find anyone that supported Biden during the primaries. I'm still looking, like
Right.
all the friends that are all the people that we went to high school with that I was arguing with online, like the Dave Matthews and Mike Matsuda. None of them. Dave Matthews was an Elizabeth Warren supporter, fan. I'm still trying to figure out who the hell supported Biden during the primary, or like where's all the Biden enthusiasm?
Well, Biden, yeah, there's no enthusiasm. Exactly. There was no Biden rallies. There weren't any, Biden people riding down the freeway in convoys. You saw that almost every weekend here.
Yeah.
And I didn't see anything for Biden. So,
Yeah.
a couple cars here and there with their stickers on, but that's about it.
But yeah, 80 million. That's 11 million more people than Barack Obama in 2008.
Right, for a guy that barely made any speeches, barely made any appearances, and he's gotten that many votes. I get there are people out there that hated Trump. I have a few friends on my Facebook that just hate Trump. Okay, but that's
It's turned into a
maybe
cult.
like 3 people. Right. It has turned into a cult. It's maybe about 3 people that I know that just honestly hate Trump. The rest are either neutral or haven't even voted.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's hard for me to fathom where all that's coming from.
Yeah.
Uh,
Yeah. It's all you got to do is just be a Democrat and pull out the racist card. And just
yeah.
pull it out on everything, you know?
I'm gonna start pulling out the Eastern European card. I come from communist Romania.
Yeah.
Start pulling it all out.
You know, yeah. You had.
Same thing with Newsom when he got elected.
Huh?
I still ask people to this day, if just, I work in retail, or I'll get in a conversation with customers sometimes, be like, so did you vote for Newsom? Just curious, No. Do you know anybody that did? No. Where the hell are Newsom votes coming from?
Right?
Literally, I know nobody that voted for him, or at least won't admit to it.
Yeah.
Not one person.
It's
so,
yeah.
Just makes you wonder. I don't know.
Yeah.
It's frustrating.
Yeah. But, it is what it is. And I don't know. Like, a part of me is kind of afraid to expose, like, any kind of voter fraud or voter irregularity, which, you got social media outlets that are quick to put on that stamp of there's no evidence of that, blah, blah, blah.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I can go back. There's, like, this Box 43 scandal, Box 13 or something like that. You can look it up. It's Lyndon B. Johnson. When he was running for Senate in 1948, there was a box of ballots that were found after the election that would have favored his opponent from winning, but was purposely held on to. Yeah, so it's not like
and that's a proven story. That's proven, fact right there.
Yeah, I can look it up and read it. To I've done it with someone else. Oop, box. Oop, let me put it over here. LBJ box.
Well, there's on Wikipedia, the most reliable source out there.
Yeah, it's the Box 13 scandal. So hopefully I'll pull it up. Okay, yeah, the Box 13 scandal was an event which occurred in Alice, Texas during the Senate election of 1948. Lyndon B. Johnson was losing the election to Coke Stevenson. 6 days after the polls had closed, 202 additional ballots were found in Precinct 13, which were in Johnson's favor. Stevenson was ahead of Johnson during the runoff and still ahead by midday. But after the discovery of the additional ballots, 200 additional votes for Johnson were found, leading to his victory. What was the aftermath here?
That's convenient.
Yeah, I could have swore that it was. Yeah, it went somewhere.
And this was before electronic voting.
Yeah.
Now with electronic voting, it's so much easier to fudge the numbers.
Yeah, 6 days after the polls. Yeah, which were in Johnson's favor. Yeah, Stevenson was ahead. So, yeah, kind of magical how it just popped up.
Yeah.
Could have swore that it was something else that was of a race by more than 13. Anyway. So it's not like it hasn't happened before, but I get it that they're saying that it's not in the high enough numbers where you can overturn the election, and
right.
It's just like a lot of people.
Okay, let's say it's not. That's fine, but fraud is fraud.
Yeah, and a lot of people have been always wondering, like going into 2 days after the election, after the 3rd. Where Trump was leading in Pennsylvania, Georgia, and then just like 2 days later, and then overnight, boom, it flipped.
Literally overnight. Yep. And if that doesn't raise any questions for everybody, then they just don't care. Flat out don't care.
Yeah.
They just want Biden to win, and that's that. Which should be really concerning. I mean, this is stuff that happens in communist countries all the time.
Yeah.
But it's happening on U.S. soil, and nobody bats an eyelash.
When you have Putin that wins 76% of the vote, in Russia.
Oh, they love him there. Take enough Putin.
Yeah.
No term limits.
Or 100% of the votes for Kim Jong-un in his free elections in North Korea. Get the fuck out of here.
Running unopposed.
Yeah.
Dare to run against me.
It's not voter fraud or voter irregularity. 100% of the people love him because 100% of the people don't want to go to prison.
Or die.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Oh, that's a good one. In China and stuff. But Yeah, I got a friend that lives out in Hayward, and I'm going to have him on Sunday this weekend, and he's been kind of saying the same thing as you. I don't know why he moved back though. I think because of his family's business, but I think along with him, he gets fed up with a lot of the crazy politics and stuff that's going on in California. Yeah, so I was just curious about like your point of view on everything
it's
from out there.
nonsense. It's really just dumb. Luckily, it hasn't affected my life too much. I mean, even prior to this pandemic, I'm kind of doing the same thing. I go to work and then come home, take care of my family, go grocery shopping. That's, basically been most of it. If I want to go out, I live in a nice area where I can go outdoors and enjoy the nature. So it hasn't affected me personally as much, but the politics are definitely frustrating, and I could see how it's just the demise of California at this point.
So, is it true that like the state departments, like the Department of Human Resources, Water Resources, that they stopped leasing all of the buildings downtown Sacramento?
I mean, I haven't looked too much into that, but I could believe it. They have definitely cut a lot of state funding to that kind of stuff, and they're sending, most people are working from home if they're still working for the state, if they're not furloughed or whatever else. My sister and brother-in-law both work for the state, and they've had their pay cut. Meanwhile, the governor is still
Hasn't
living on
taken
his
the pay
same
cut.
salary. His winery is still open with dining, outdoor dining.
Really?
We know how that goes. Yeah.
Oh,
So
man.
that's not a problem. It hasn't been a problem this whole time. He hasn't felt any of the hit from his own orders, of course.
What a
I mean,
piece of
he's
shit.
entitled to do whatever he wants to do. Go to the French Laundry with all his buddies, and then I goofed up. I made a goof. Sorry, guys.
Didn't like the health department officials like take a trip to Hawaii?
Actually, yes, and a couple of the health department officials were at the French Laundry with him.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then the day after, the mayor of San Francisco was at the French
He was
Laundry.
dining there as well. Correct.
Yeah.
And there was another councilwoman in LA County who voted to shut down outdoor dining. And that same day, after she voted for that, she went dining outdoor at a restaurant. I mean, the hypocrisy just never ends.
Yeah,
And
it's stupid. And then you had that
a lot of
woman that
it's
made the
really-
video, or there was a video of a woman that was crying because her restaurant got basically shut down.
Yes,
But yeah,
because outdoor dining is closed.
On
So
the-
yeah, she got shut down.
on the set on movie sets, they can open up dining for the crew.
Right.
And, like what like how
Right next to her business, right there,
yeah
15 feet away.
I and I'm just amazed like the people are just complicit. Like I know a lot of people are not taking it, but like I'm just waiting until that breaking point of what
Yes.
the straw that broke the camel's back.
Right.
Of like a pushing people over to the edge.
So I feel like it's coming, especially with this new shutdown that's regional and not just county effective, because Placer County is pretty liberal. They don't really give a shit about the democratic orders. They haven't this whole time, right? They've kept pretty much every business open, except for at the beginning when it first happened, because nobody knew what was going on.
Yeah.
But after that, the Assembly Council for Placer County said, hey, we're not following state of emergency orders. They basically took Placer County out of emergency orders. They said, yeah, the state might still do whatever they got to do, but we're not going to enforce any of it. You guys do your own business, right?
Oh, wow.
So now they're lumped us together with Sacramento County, which shuts us down as well. But I see pages starting on Facebook of businesses in Placer County saying, hey, no, we're going to stay open. You guys do what you got to do, but we're not going to comply.
Yeah.
So, and sheriffs aren't enforcing it. We'll see what happens. I mean, something's got to break, like you said.
It's
And
terrible.
it just makes so it makes no sense. I work in a big retailer, right? I'm not going to name which one, but grocery retailer. It's packed all day long. We're allowed to be at full capacity, whatever, no problem. I'm at risk, right? Because I'm dealing with hundreds of people a day.
Yeah.
Who cares about me? Because they're getting their groceries, but they're all packed in there like sardines anyway. And we've actually recently had a COVID outbreak of employees I've come in contact with most of them, but they're not going to quarantine me. I'm too essential, right?
Yeah.
I need to be there to make sure they're making money. It's bullshit because
It is.
according to state CDC and company policy, if you come in contact with someone that's tested positive for COVID, they have to send you home 10 days paid quarantine. Yeah, no, I tried that. They wouldn't let me.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh my
Unless
God.
I have symptoms or test positive myself.
That's ridiculous.
So it's all bullshit. I mean,
Yeah.
the company was about to pretty much go under prior to this pandemic, and now they're making
Boom.
billions of dollars. They've gone on the stock market this year after the whole thing broke out. They didn't even see that happening prior to. So
Yeah.
from my perspective, being in a big corporation like that, it's all just money, money, money. That's all they want.
Like you've probably put up on your page a couple times, that I've noticed is, you got all the big corporations, the Amazons, the WalMarts, the all the big ones that are continuing to grow during this, but all the small businesses got to close. You can't. We're basically just killed the small in competition.
Right.
But then you have the party that's against corporations and against capitalism and against billionaires and stuff like that are creating policy to allow those people to get more rich and bigger and bigger. So like,
well, what did Nancy and Newsom say, and Kamala? Shop small businesses. What small businesses? You're closing them all down. You're putting them all out.
Oh yeah,
Amazon's not a small business.
Yeah. Newsom had the balls to go out there and say shop small businesses, but then it's been basically enabling the big stream competitors for those small businesses. People were like,
where's the science behind this? I guarantee you're going to get more COVID from a packed grocery store than you are from mom and pop grocery store that's got 10 people
or
in
a
it.
gym. Or a damn gym. Why? Like, you can have McDonald's open, but you can't have the fucking gym open? Like, aren't we supposed to make people, like, more healthy right now and like, build their immune systems and try to be more healthy? But where can you go to do that? I mean, they're even saying, like, in Los Angeles...
are making people less healthy, actually. All these closures are making people less healthy. They're not boosting their immune system.
Make them dependent on the system,
Exactly.
That San Francisco was actually paying for homeless people to be in hotels and providing them booze and marijuana.
Yep. Still are.
Are.
My father-in-law travels a lot for his job and stays in a lot of hotels throughout the state. And he has to be picky and selective on the hotels he goes to. And he calls them ahead of time, do you guys have homeless people there? Staying there. If they do, you won't go. But yeah, I mean, it's all too common, especially the Bay Area.
Taxpayer money to pay for their addiction, basically.
And they're destroying those hotels, not to mention.
Yeah.
I mean, pissing on the carpets, breaking in the walls. Right. Yeah, exactly. And they can't just forcefully have them leave. It's just turned into a shithole. I hate to say it.
It's terrible. Yeah. It's terrible. You even had I don't know if you heard of the mayor of Austin. I forget his name, but he came out with a video conference and he was telling the people of Austin, like, you can't go out, hunker down, we got to lock down, stay safe, blah blah blah. The same rhetoric that every other fucking mayor around the country. But this dumbass, he was recording this while in his timeshare in fucking Cabo. He got caught with this. Like, you can see, like, in the background, people notice that, wait, where the hell is he at? He had a wedding
Texas?
for his daughter that invited like 20, 30 people to his timeshare in Cabo, Mexico.
Unbelievable.
Okay, you guys can't travel, but I'm here in fucking, Hawaii, here in Cabo Wabo.
Yeah, Juan, I'll take another margarita, please.
Yeah. Jose, yeah, please. Thank
Ole.
You. Yeah.
Yeah, man. What a bunch of hypocrisy. If people aren't getting fed up with that, at least, it's just getting ridiculous.
Yeah.
I mean, that's the thing. People need to realize they have the power. It's not the government. You're paying these people. You have the power to tell them what to do.
Yeah. It's just like I've commented to you before, I think the biggest issue is that, for one thing, Americans have gotten lazy, and Americans don't want to get involved. They want to. We unfortunately live in a culture of what about me? What is it for me? Instead of what is it for us? Looking into our small box instead of the big picture, unfortunately. And we have deferred and given a lot of our rights and responsibilities mostly to the state, to the government, through these laws and policies, that a lot of the shit we should be handling ourselves. We don't need to make a policy or a law that requires sex education in kindergarten. Like, why?
Yeah, because parents don't want to teach their kids that. Well, it's part of your responsibility as a parent.
Yeah. Well, I don't want to talk about it. I'd rather have the teachers talk about it. Well, why don't we make a law that requires teachers to, make our children better people? To teach them also how to shave and also how to not be an asshole.
Yeah. Teach them how to handle a credit card. Teach them how to handle bills.
Yeah.
Basic life skills. But no, we're going to teach them about sex because that's what's important in life.
Yeah. Like I've told people before that, the United States, our culture, we're a very work-oriented culture. We put in that extra time at work. We put in those extra, overtime hours. A lot of people out there working 60, 70 hours a week, even more, some, and that we want to put those, like I said, those personal responsibilities onto the state or onto others, because we want to work, we want to make more, we want to do this and that, but we don't take care of ourselves first. I think that us as Americans, we really need to have a culture change, as in like an ideology change into what is wrong about a community policing themselves, what is wrong about approaching other people if they're doing something wrong. I'm not saying like being the police, but we do as Americans have certain rights to, and responsibilities to our communities and be more involved. But
that's not happening. Yeah. People are, like you said, they don't want to get involved. And I think it's the fear of the backlash, that whole cancel culture, right? You say something wrong, well, you're being this or you're being that, and I don't accept it. Instead of thank you for pointing that out, it's the backlash instead.
My fear is that we as the people have given these governors, mayors so much power during this past year of 2020 that I don't know how they're going to reel that back in. How are they going to give that back to the people? I don't think that they are 100. I can almost guarantee you not 100%.
No, they're not going to want to.
Yeah. So we need to really sit back and wonder how much, and like really figure this out, and how much power can we give these elected officials, and how much power do they have over us?
Well, just like this whole emergency power Newsom power trip he's on, he's well overextended his emergency orders and powers, and there are currently legislative lawyers that are in California legislature suing him, and there are cases in court right now about his overextent of power. Yeah, but we need the majority of people to stand up against that.
Yeah, exactly. Hasn't there been a judge that ruled that Gavin Newsom had kind of overstepped his legal authority, and that he can't be making legislation as a...
So I went to the Supreme Court of Yuba County, and the judge, luckily we didn't know which way. I watched the hearing and it was like, I don't know which way this is going to go, because she was very weird about the whole case. But luckily she voted that, hey, yeah, you're overstepping your powers. You can't be making laws. That's the legislative's branch. That's a responsibility, whether it's emergency or not.
Yeah.
To put him in his place. And of course he appealed it, or his lawyers. He never even showed up for any of this. They appealed it, and I haven't heard any update on it yet. The Supreme Court was supposed to give some update on Tuesday, but nothing has come up yet. So I don't know what they're going through now. But
here in Washington, back probably about in April or May, we had our state Supreme Court rule 5-4 against the governor's request of trying to release X amount of felons that may or may not have included the Green River Killer. from prison because of the COVID concern. Now, granted, it didn't pass, but what concerns me is who the fuck were the 4 people that voted for in favor? These are Supreme Court, not Supreme Court, state Supreme Court,
straight Supreme Court, right.
Justices that said 4 of them said, yeah, we do because of COVID. Like, what the fuck?
Yeah, the checks and balances are just all out of whack right now. It's basically like these governors have just thrown the Constitution checks and balance system out the window because we're in a state of emergency, which we're really not. ICU is still at lower capacity than normal this time of year, like I said. Yeah. So show me where the emergency is. People are getting infected, big deal. Are they dying? Are they dropping dead on the streets? No, absolutely not.
Yeah, that's what I want to hear more about. What is the rate of death? Has that decreased in the past 3 months? And they're not going to put that out as they're going to say caseloads increased.
Which, the data's all there on the CDC website, which you can't fully trust 100% anyway, but it's still there and it's showing decline in death over COVID.
Yeah.
Even as they're still making other deaths, COVID deaths that are not COVID deaths.
I think didn't the CDC even stop counting flu deaths now?
Mm-hmm. And any flu pneumonia symptoms are counting as COVID now. Whether I don't even think they're testing for influenza anymore.
Wow.
It's all just COVID. So, and they're admitting all this. It's right there on the CDC website. Why nobody looks at it, I don't know, because they're just all waiting for the news to tell them the next thing.
Yeah.
That's what amazes me. I've gone out and done my own research, and it's time consuming, but the things you find out, you're just like eye-opening.
I believe Elon Musk made that tweet that was saying that he took either 2 or 4 tests or something like that.
Four tests in one day.
Yeah, in one day. 2 of them came back positive, 2 came back negative.
Yep.
Yeah. Yeah.
Shows you the inconsistency.
If this whole pandemic fell into the Democrats' lap of really trying to take full advantage of it and put all the blame of it on the president, that whole rhetoric of businesses shut down, the economy is basically crashing. This is all Trump's fault. Blah blah blah. These are all Democrats that are continuing this policy. I don't understand how that's a connection between him and when he's been saying open it back up for months.
Right. Since April of last year, he's been saying, or this year, I mean. And the economy hasn't crashed, surprisingly. I'm still waiting for that to happen. It's just a matter of time.
Yeah.
It's obviously going to happen under Democratic care because they want to let it crash and bring it back up, be the saviors, right?
Yeah.
But stock market, my stocks are doing great.
Yeah.
I can't complain.
Yeah, right back.
And that's all during the Trump administration. But no, let's not give him any credit for that or any of the other good stuff he's done, peace deals.
I liked one article that its headline said, Trump said that if Biden elected, the stock market would plummet. But in the month of November, the stock market had such a rise that it was never had such an increase for the first time, so large for the first time in since 1987. It was the whole point was to attack Trump for saying, oh well, Biden was elected, but the economy didn't crash. But then I was thinking, well, hey, dumbass. President Trump is still in office, right? And you're just saying that you just gave him another thumbs up, the economy just bounced back, higher than since 1987 or whatever year. It's been over 30 years. I mean, you just gave him kudos. You don't realize that, but people are going to be reading that and think, oh well, that's because of Biden or whatever.
Biden got elected, and people have trust in the market again.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's however they want to spin it, whatever positive light.
Yeah, I mean, you had this man come up with the peace treaties between Israel and Bahrain, Israel and Sudan,
Saudi Arabia.
Yeah,
the UAE.
The UAE. Not good enough. That was good. That went quiet.
Oh, quiet.
That got, you had the Hunter Biden laptop. That shit got shot down.
Shot down and covered up.
The
Very
owner
insane.
the owner of that laptop or the computer repair shop in Delaware, he's gone missing. He just left. He was receiving so many death threats and like
Hmm.
and like honestly feared for his life that he's just disappeared.
I blame him.
Yeah, closed up shop and and left.
Never heard of again. Which I figured was going to happen. I mean,
Yeah.
he's done major exposing of the whole Biden family. So yeah, of course he's going to end up missing somehow, one way or another.
Yeah.
But yeah, hush hush on that one. It's all a conspiracy.
And then I think it was back in October. I think it was October, maybe September. Trump made the announcement of his like healthcare policy reform that he was going to cap insulin costs to like $30 a month,
Yeah.
where no one's going to have to pay more than $30. And then he said,
other drugs too.
yeah, and then he was going to repeal the part of the ACA of, I think, you only have like you're given two options if you're an employer. Like you can only give your employees two options and no more. And he was going to allow multiple options, because like if you see like these healthcare plans that which I'm sure you've seen through your employer, like you get either the really affordable one, which is like $400-$500 a month ish, give or take, or you go with $1,500 a month that you got to pay on the healthcare, and that's all you get. That's the only option.
That's it. Right.
Now, if anyone had half a brain, in their skull, that if you start adding more options, 5, 6, 7, they're going to compete for your business, right? So that's what drives the costs down, and that's what he was trying to do. But you see, in the ACA, they don't, or the Obamacare, they don't give you that option,
Yeah, you get Obamacare or private insurance, one private insurance, and that's it.
Yeah, you don't get much choice, And everyone's been worried about that. Not everyone, but a lot of people have been worried about Amy Coney Barrett's nomination into the Supreme Court. That she's going to appeal or repeal the ACA. The whole thing should be scrapped anyway, because I have failed to see anything good come out of that policy. I mean, what? You're literally going to tax people at the end of the year that can't afford healthcare coverage? Like,
yeah, you think they're going to afford your taxes?
Yeah. How about, I mean, like, why wasn't it, like, ever brought up about, like, taxing the employer for not offering an option? How about that? That might have been a better way around it. But you're going to, like, tax someone that can't afford the healthcare in the first place.
Because making it unaffordable. Sense. No, it doesn't make any sense at all. And there are other countries that do have better health care, and why can't we look at their systems and see what they're doing, see what's working for them?
Yeah.
So many factors involved in that.
Yeah. A lot of things that they, and so that went unspoken, really. Just a lot of things, man. What was it?
Well, that's the thing that I love about Trump. He came up with policies. He not only came up with them, but also made them happen. And they're good policies that helped Americans, working class Americans.
Yeah.
But nobody paid attention to that.
No. Everyone was in fear of like, we're not going to get Chinese steel, Chinese trade war. Remember they were saying like all the goods and services in the United States were just going to skyrocket in price.
Oh yeah.
That didn't happen. It's funny. You can YouTube saying that they're going to be taking down conspiracy theories and take down the voter fraud stuff. But if you go on there, you can still find Russian collusion bullshit on there.
Right, which has been proven wrong.
Yeah, multiple times. You know.
That's not a conspiracy, though.
That's not a conspiracy, though.
It's factually wrong, but it's not a conspiracy.
I remember when the FBI announced that they were going to put conspiracy theorists on like a domestic terrorist list or watch lists. And then 2 days later, Epstein showed up dead. I'm like, wow, that was really shitty timing.
Yeah. The camera just happened to go out at the exact time he died. Oh, my goodness.
Yeah, And you want people to not be conspiracy theorists. I'm
not much on conspiracies. I want to see the facts, but when certain puzzle pieces fit together, then
the shoe fits, right?
It's a little suspicious, so I don't know. Call it conspiracy if you want.
Yeah. No one believes that man killed himself. and that got silenced really, really quick. You don't hear anything about Ghislaine Maxwell right now.
Oh yeah,
Which
nothing.
you would think that involves a former president and royalty in England, that it might be top of the list of shit to talk about, but no.
You don't hear much about Clinton anymore either. I don't know where she's been at.
Hiding in her basement. You ever hear that? You ever hear that shit talking that Trump said to about Biden? Yeah, because he was doing all those interviews from like his basement or whatever, someplace in his house. One of the things he was like, "Oh, I wish I could be just locked up into my basement or somewhere in a nice room in the White House, but but there's Biden in his basement going, mommy, I'm scared to come out." That man don't give a fuck, dude. It's so funny.
That's what I like about him. A lot of people can't handle that about him, but that's exactly what I like about him. I like it to just be someone to tell it like it is.
Yeah, I thought his biggest exposure of like what the idea of what American politics really is when he tried to pull out troops in Syria. And you had everyone on both sides going, "You can't do that to the Kurds. You can't do that to our allies." Blah blah. You had like people like AOC even coming out and saying, going against it. Like, you can't pull out get out of war. And oh yeah, if that didn't expose the true face of politics, yeah, of course you can. Fuck them. Well,
you're the commander in chief. You can do whatever you want with the military.
Yeah. Like I've been complaining and arguing with people at the time that he did that. I'm like, why would we continue to be in there?
Exactly.
But hey, when Trump destroys ISIS within a matter of months, no one gives him credit for it. It
was around the whole Obama administration. Yeah, who started it? Exactly. Yeah. Obama couldn't do anything about it, but now this guy from New York, businessman from New York, comes in and all of a sudden ends it.
Yeah.
Wow.
You know who Tim Kennedy is? He's a UFC fighter. He's also, I think he's Special Forces, a Ranger. Anyway, he's a UFC fighter. He's kind of popular. He's pretty famous. Sorry. And he was talking about like the day and night difference between the Obama administration and the Trump administration. I was in the Army also during the whole Obama administration, and you could tell that like the funding for everything was just going down, and then forced retirements, people getting out, and blah blah blah, the drawdown, and so on and so forth. But once Trump became president, all the funding started coming in, and shit started getting done, faster. And he said that like I said, within months, ISIS was gone. He got the al-Baghdadi, killed him.
Yeah, got the general out.
Found that fucker in a cave and and watched him blow up into pieces. Yeah, and then you had Soleimani, the same thing. And a lot of people are like saying that, how can you do that to Iran? But that man, Soleimani, gave his design to... Okay, so like in the Iraq war during the winter, people would flee, the enemy would flee, Al-Qaeda and whatever would flee across the border into Iran. And we would always call it the spring offensive, because every spring, that's when they start coming back and they want to do all the attacks again. Because they found haven in Iran. Yeah. Well, another thing is that Soleimani was designing these EFPs, which is kind of a brass plate that's like enclave like this, and you put it behind some explosives, so that when it explodes, it like shoots out like a propulsion, like kind of like a rocket, but it's like melted brass, and it can actually go through easily 6 inches of armor on a vehicle. I've seen it happen.
Wow.
Someone in my squad had gotten attacked by that. But this man was responsible for sending and designing that those weapons that would be brought into Iraq to go. And the man was probably responsible for God knows how many American troops' deaths. But people were throwing, sad faces, Soleimani, blah, blah, blah.
You just killed a worldwide terrorist, and people are going to be sad about it.
Yeah.
It just shows you what's wrong with the world.
Yeah.
We're celebrating all the wrong people.
Yeah, Iran just executed like a well-renowned wrestler. I don't know if you know who I'm talking about. Iranian wrestler. Let me look it up here. Execution. His name was Navid Afkari. He was an Iranian wrestler who was sentenced to death and executed in Iran. Like he was, what kind of wrestling? I don't think it was gold medal, but wrestling career, was a national champion in wrestling. Right. Anyway, this guy took part in a very popular amongst Iranian people, and took part in a peaceful protest. And so, like, to make an example of him, the government, arrested him and got him executed. And then this, mind you, this is the same people that the upcoming administration is going to want to go back into the Iran nuclear deal with.
Right. Are wasting our taxpayer dollars again.
Yeah.
For
billions of dollars.
Nothing.
Man.
For whatever they gain out of it, because the U.S. isn't gaining shit.
Yeah. Like what? I try to look into that policy, like, more and more of, like, what did we benefit from it, and what could someone that agrees to that deal benefit from it? Like, you have to, like, follow that dollar,
right?
Of, like, why would
usually something like that benefits both sides?
Yeah. maybe taxpayer dollars are going to them, and they're buying supplies from, like, American businesses, American corporations that have access to those kind of materials. I don't know. It'd be interesting to find that out as someone, like, actually investigated deeper into it. Right. I just don't see otherwise. Why would you give billions of dollars to a known enemy of the United States that constantly says that they want to, destroy Israel and are enemies of the United States, and they want to destroy us? They're not quiet about it. They never have.
Yeah, it's very suspect. I mean, somebody's got to be getting something out of the deal.
It's like going into a North Korean trade deal and giving them money to create chemistry labs for education, but they're creating, like, nerve agents and shit. You know what I mean? Like it.
Yeah.
Well,
so wasn't the whole deal kind of just, we'll give you money if you guys stop developing nuclear weapons? Yeah. Right? Wasn't that kind of the whole basis of it?
Yeah. Okay. We won't.
Yes,
we
you
promise.
Can trust me.
Yeah. I trust you guys.
We're trustworthy. Come on, guy.
Yeah. Meanwhile, the nuclear weapons specialist that just got assassinated like 2 weeks ago in Iran.
Yeah. They're using that money to develop weapons, because who's going to know? Who's monitoring all this?
Yeah. Yeah.
You can't develop weapons for yourselves. You have to develop them for us. We're going to pay you. I mean, this is very suspicious, and nobody's tracking the money.
Yeah.
Or it's not putting it out for the public, which we should know. It's our tax dollars. Where's it going?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah,
that's one thing that's always frustrated me with tax money. It's like, okay, I work, I give you a percentage of my income. What are you using it for? Yeah. I want this all to be accounted for. The gas tax here in California, it's not going to our roads. Our roads are shit. Caltrans takes 10 years to do one project. Where's all this money going to?
Not only that, but, like, what happened to the whole trade thing that they were going to do from Northern California to Southern California? That got scrapped?
Yeah, that got scrapped. It's like half or quarter of a rail just sitting somewhere.
They got, that the state of California got federal grants for that railroad or that train build, and that 2 years ago Gavin Newsom refused to give that back to the federal government.
Yeah. And that's totally just fine.
I think it was 2 years ago.
Well, no, we don't want to give it back.
Yeah. Or
I didn't know it worked that way.
Yeah. He just he refused. It was something like because I think of the immigration thing that he was against of Trump.
Whatever.
Yeah.
Yes. Come up with.
And do you remember the Oakland Bay Bridge fiasco?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. It took forever to build, and bolts are falling off of it.
Yeah, for people out there that don't know, I believe it was Governor Schwarzenegger at the time, contracted not to American companies or Californian contractors, but contracted this money to Chinese contractors to half-ass build this bridge that within like a couple years after it being built was already falling apart, and just wasted billions of dollars on it.
Built only half the bridge. The other half of the bridge from Treasure Island is still the old bridge.
Yeah.
Hey,
we're going to up the income tax from 13% to 16% though,
Yeah,
so
somebody's got to pay for it.
yeah, so that you could have to pay 45% in total income tax to federal and state.
Well, isn't the gas tax going for this project? No, it's not enough.
What,
Oh,
what
actually, I heard. So, there's a big movement for electric cars now, right? And
yeah.
Newsom's all on this one. Okay, well, people aren't, especially if they're not commuting to work, they're not buying as much gas anymore. Gas is still expensive. I've paid a premium in both my cars, $3.59 a gallon, and that's like medium price. But anyway, still not enough people buying gas. So their next initiative is to start a bunch of toll lanes, to gather more money for roads.
What the
This is
hell?
never going to catch up. Yeah, that's the next thing they want to start pushing, because electric cars, fill up with gas, so got to find a way to charge those people too. I mean,
The state of California has over 30 million people. And you mean to tell me that just a 13% income tax couldn't cover like a lot of the shit? But yet they want to get... so what's the gas tax? Do you know like how many cents per gallon goes to the state?
I don't remember. It was pretty high.
We could look it up.
Yeah.
Gas tax. Because here in my state, it's 44 cents to every gallon goes to the state. California gas tax is going up just over 3 cents a gallon, making the total now more than 50 cents a gallon. 50 cents a gallon sold goes to the state. Every gallon.
Every gallon. That's a lot of money.
Irresponsible spending. That's what that all comes
right.
down to.
And no accountability. This money's going to somebody's pocket, and they're in charge of spending it. And where are the numbers? Where is all this getting funneled?
Yeah. Who's getting it? That's a good question. That's a very good question.
With today's technology, you should be able to trace it easily.
I'm curious about how much state of California gets in taxes every year. Sees how much in taxes.
It's going to be a lot less next year, I'll tell you that much. Well, from big corporations.
Yeah. There's more to Washington than it gets back. What does it say here? It says California no longer pays more to Washington than it gets back, study finds. Is this an old... What? 10 years ago, then Governor Arnold Schwarzenegger... Which that was a mess. God damn it.
That one's old.
I can't read it because the San Francisco Chronicle wants me to pay for their shit.
Yeah.
Does California... Okay, here's good old biased PolitiFact. Does California give more than it gets from Washington, D.C.? No. Send more money to Washington than it gets back in return. I can't find any, but I'm curious. It'd be a good...
something to look into.
What is the income tax rate in California in 2020? Oh, it's 6% for... Tax hike in California millionaires would create 54% tax rate. Oof. 54%. What's the incentive of trying to be successful if you're 54% of your income is going? But the thing about that too is like a lot of people don't realize is that when they say that the rich need to be taxed more on their income, a lot of people don't know. Like, do you know like where like multimillionaires and billionaires like Jeff Bezos, and do you know where they get like the majority of like their so-called income, the money that they actually take in every year, is not from like having a job that says you get paid $2 billion a year, so that's your income. They get it from stock dividends, which is on a completely different bracket of tax rates. So I mean, in a way, you think that you're going to be increasing the tax rate on them on their income alone. They're going to be making more than that in their assets.
Right.
Like when they say Jeff Bezos is worth $150 billion, he's got $150 billion in the bank. No. He's got $150 billion of assets, in his stock and property, or whatever.
Yeah, their net worth.
You're talking oranges
their
and
actual
apples.
Income. Right.
Yeah.
And of course, any income they have, they know how to write it off. They know where to funnel it to.
Yeah.
Not pay as much in taxes, and they're not stupid.
The city of New York City. New York City. Believe this or not, 49% of its tax revenue for the city alone comes from people that make more than $1 million a year.
Wow.
49% of it. 49% of its income tax, or not income tax, but like actual operating
It's
tax,
revenue. Yeah.
comes from millionaires in the city.
Well,
And millionaires only make up less than 1% of the city of New York City.
yeah. They're already paying, more than their fair share.
Yeah.
They're basically keeping the city going.
Yeah, but
But
they're being pushed out, you
I
know?
was going to say, a lot of them are getting fed up and leaving. So what are you going to be left with now?
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Homeless and crime. I mean, that's already gone up exponentially there as well, especially the crime.
Yeah. Yeah. It comes with one another, huh?
Yeah.
Do you think that there's any kind of solution to the homeless problem in California? Like, because the numbers just keep increasing and increasing.
I mean, there's got to be something better way of. And the problem is they're getting incentivized to be homeless. There's no reason, and a lot of them choose it. There are some that have mental problems. I understand that, but you got programs for that can help them get back on their feet or get them in some sort of stable life. But a lot of them that I've heard of and even talked to, some homeless people, they just choose it because they're making state income, whatever they're getting from the state, plus food stamps. Plus, if they're sitting out on the streets begging for money, a lot of them make around $40,000 a year just off that.
Oh,
So why
panhandling.
work?
Yeah.
Panhandling. Why work?
Yeah.
There's no incentive to. So if that keeps occurring now, I mean, you're not going to end it anytime soon. If you hold these people responsible, especially if they're more than capable of contributing to society, then we can get somewhere and make California better again.
It's okay. We can't tax their income on that because that's a cash business of panhandling.
Right.
So if you got a legit job, you got to pay for that.
You got to pay for their food stamps and their EBT benefits and their medical and everything else because you have a real job.
Yeah.
Oh, and if you work overtime and decide to put, more money in your pocket, well, that's not going to happen. Take 40% of that for themselves and leave you with the rest.
Yeah.
It's like working now is just a big scam.
It really is, huh?
Most people struggle working then if they're not working.
Because like they've been complaining ever since the pandemic started of these grocery workers, these retail workers, these other essential workers. Because I've been doing a part-time job too that ever since the pandemic as well, and where's the extra incentive? Weren't they talking about like extra pay for those people that having to continue to in a possible hazardous environment, or
some
maybe
are still getting it. Some are still getting it. Certain corporations, it's not much, but whatever. They're still getting it. For us, we had $2 an hour for maybe a couple months, and they cut it off. More of just a publicity stunt. Like, hey, everybody else is doing it. We got to get in on this. We got to get on the news that we're paying our employees hazard pay, which ended up being like nothing once it was taxed. So that's bonus, right? So anyway, hazard pay, and then they just took it away without letting anybody know, of course.
They just need to get shit or get off the pot. It's either it's dangerous or it's not dangerous.
Exactly.
It's so much half-assery around here of it's okay to go travel into Cabo, but it's not okay to go see your family on Thanksgiving. We have to shut down businesses because you could get COVID and die. But however, it's not that dangerous for you to be working, for other essential
with
workers.
Hundreds of people around you.
Yeah, and maintain the same salary that you're getting or the pay. It's not that dangerous, but it's just so no consistency, zero.
Oh, that's what drives me nuts is just hearing all this. Oh, it's so dangerous. Well, okay, so I'm in the middle of this danger. I've been in the middle of this. My wife too, she's a nurse, right? She's not getting the extra pay, but anyway. It's so dangerous, but yet I get nothing out of it except putting myself in danger of dying. I've been able to survive this pandemic with thousands of people in my face, literally, because I'm out on the sales floor. So they come right up to me, 6 feet my ass. And I don't know if I've caught it or not. I haven't had any symptoms. I haven't been sick this whole time.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's so dangerous. So when people say that, it pisses me off because, like, yes, it's a virus. It's real. It's affecting some people, but really, it's not that dangerous. And I could tell you firsthand experience for myself and other employees working around me. There's hundreds of employees working around me.
Yeah.
It's frustrating. Like you said, either make it dangerous and shut everything down, or let's quit bullshitting around and just keep everything open.
Which is
safely.
You can't go back and forth. It's too dangerous for gyms, but it's not dangerous enough for packed Walmarts. You know, it's too dangerous for Thanksgiving, but not too dangerous for Mexico.
Thanksgiving's dangerous, but Black Friday's okay, guys.
Yeah, but Black Friday is fine. It's okay. Yeah, you know.
Your family's in danger. That's what do they say? Most of the COVID rise in case rise has been from small gatherings.
Yeah.
In-home gatherings.
Yeah.
Okay, let's go with that BS. Why are you shutting down businesses then if they haven't been the culprit? Why aren't you shutting down small gatherings? Where's the reasoning?
House parties are wrong. Protesting is okay in mass.
Yes.
Riots are all right too. Just let them burn it out. You know, it's hypocritical bullshit, man, and it's affecting so many people's lives. And they wonder why the caseloads are increasing because no one is taking this shit serious. Because one day it's one thing, and then then our elected officials do the opposite thing the next day. No one's taking the shit serious. Wear a mask. Don't wear a mask. Wear a mask. You know, stay in, go out, or whatever. No one fucking knows anything. You know,
right?
And so this is why, because there's so much uncertainty.
Yeah, there's so much misinformation and hypocrisy, and how are you going to take it serious?
Yeah.
If they were to state the facts and data, that might be a whole different story. But they're going about it all wrong.
Yeah. Yeah. Exactly. All right, hey man, I gotta cut it short now. I really appreciate you coming on. Hopefully we could do this again. I hope you enjoyed it. I really thank you.
Yeah, it's my pleasure.
Great talk. Like I said,
good venting to someone that understands.
Yeah, like I said, we talk about anything and everything on
people.
here.
It's like, come on, guys, wake the hell up. I just want to shake them.
Yeah.
You don't have to look far.
We need to be able to be more open and sharing ideas instead of being so married to our thoughts and beliefs. You know. And I see that a lot of people with the left.
And that's the thing. I'm open to hearing your ideas. I'm totally fine. Why aren't you open to hearing my ideas?
Yeah. Let's just debate on it, right?
Yeah. Have a conversation. You don't even have to debate. Have a conversation.
Yeah.
You might get something out of it. You might not.
Exactly. Well, hey, thanks again, man.
Of course, bro.
I appreciate it. Hopefully, like I said, we'll do it again soon.
Yeah. I hope so. All right. Take care.
All right, take care.